And can you believe this? She gave me herpes again.
Really? For the third time?
Is it just me? Or is it getting crazier out there?
Hey everybody, welcome to Late Late Horror Show. I'm knocking things over during the intro. What's going on? Oh, wait. Hey, what's going on? Yeah, I'm Dino.
Ted Rico.
Yeah, crack it open.
I might as well. I only drink it on Tuesday. You know that now?
Only on Tuesday.
It's going to be my new thing. I have one beer a week.
Get you. Listen to that.
Well, I normally drink margaritas or whiskey or, I don't drink a lot of.
Yeah, gin and juice. You and Snoop used to sit and
I'm the one that taught him about it.
Did you really?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, we got a great one for you here. If you like Hammer, well, you know what? I'm not even going to say Hammer movie. This didn't have a Hammer film, but the house
has Hammer alumni in it. Several Hammer alumni.
It's The House That Dripped Blood from 1971. An anthology.
This is our first portmanteau movie.
Portmanteau. Yeah.
Portmanteau. See, we're going to be French.
Anthology.
Yeah.
Portmanteau.
We haven't.
It's
I think
by Amicus.
We haven't
films, but yeah.
Amicus Films was a competing studio in Britain.
Yeah.
They wanted to be a Hammer, never got to be a Hammer.
Hey, Aaron Anderson in the YouTube channel.
Hey, what's up, guys?
Hopefully our voices aren't. I was looking at the video before we started, and and if you're on iTunes, as always, we are live on YouTube every Tuesday night at 9 p.m. Eastern Time, just to let you know if you hear me veering off to the YouTube chat. But our voice seems to be off sync a little bit when we're talking here.
It's actually my voice. Actually, I'm trying to do it that way. Move my lips differently.
Something happened down in the house, I think, where the sound is catching up to the video a little quicker than.
Someone hit us with an EMP.
Something happened. 5G.
When we booted back up.
Dope. But yeah, go ahead.
Amicus was a competing studio. They mostly did these anthology type films.
Yeah.
They didn't delve into the gothic horror that Hammer did, although they did do one called And Now the Screaming Starts, which is really, really good. You should see it.
So if they were trying to copy off of Hammer films,
they wanted to get,
Well, what's with the anthologies?
It's kind of just
what's with the anthologies?
That was just their thing. It actually was a popular format.
And why the name Amicus?
I don't know. Because they're
friendly. Why not
because they're friendly. They're
like
Amicus.
Hummer Films or something like that. Yeah.
Well, later Ron Jeremy would star in a lot of Hummer films.
Yeah, but you know what? This felt a lot to me. Oh, go on. You're going to talk about some of the anthologies that.
Well, I just said that this is one of the more popular, if not the most popular, Amicus anthology film.
Yeah.
It's probably my favorite out of all of them, but I like them all. They did like 5 or 6 of them. There was Dr. Terror's House of Horrors. That's with Peter Cushing. That also has Christopher Lee, or Donald Sutherland, really young Donald Sutherland in it.
That's better than the one we watched.
No.
Anyways, go ahead.
Asylum, which is probably my next favorite one. I'll talk about that in a second.
Okay.
What was another one? They did Torture Garden with Burgess Meredith. Tales from the Crypt.
He says that in there too.
Vault
it's
of
weird.
Horror, From Beyond the Grave.
Vault of Horror. Yeah.
So there's at least half a dozen of them.
Good old comics.
And the thing the closest that we ever got here in the States, I know there's been other ones more recently. It's kind of like Trick or Treat and stuff, but I think one of the early ones that we all grew up watching was Creepshow.
Right.
Which actually I just watched again not too long ago, and I personally don't think it holds up very well. But
I like Creepshow a lot more than The House That Dripped Blood.
Watch it again. You might change your mind. It's kind of dull. The Stephen King story in it is still the best one.
Yeah, well, that's
probably
definitely
would have deserved to be its own little movie.
Yeah.
But Still my opinion.
Well, and that's kind of familiar. Kind of the Color Out of Space kind of reminds me of that.
Yes, it does.
He
was definitely going for a Lovecraftian kind of thing.
Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah,
for sure.
Coming out of the sky.
And what's common about these anthology movies is there's always a sort of wraparound story to tie them all together. In Creepshow, you remember it's the father, ticked off at his son for reading a comic book, and then even the stories begin and end sort of looking like a comic book.
Right.
That's the wraparound. In say like I think it's From Beyond the Grave, Peter Cushing has a little antique store, and people come in and buy things or steal things. And you find out what happens to them because of that item.
That's a cool idea, like wrapping around an antique store. Right. I think Seinfeld said that too. When they were coming up with ideas. Remember George Costanza said, "How about somebody you own an antique store, and people come in with their wild stories and talk about what." Yeah, and then it goes on there. Didn't work out so well, but
no, I guess not.
But yeah, anyways,
the one that I probably like the best. Out of the anthology films is Asylum, the wraparound story for Asylum. It's about a doctor interviewing for a position at a private hospital for criminally insane people. And
Mr. Michael Myers, 99, hello.
What's happening?
He says, "What's up, guys? Nice to see you."
And the way that particular film starts, he's being told in the interview,
talking old school again,
the doctor that is going to hire you has just recently gone insane. He's one of our patients. Ooh. I want you to go and interview each of the patients, and if by the end of the interviews you can figure out which one the doctor is, you've got the job. So he doesn't know if it's a man or if it's a woman or whatever, and he goes to the different rooms and talks to the patients, and you get their story, their little horror story or whatever that happened.
That's a game we need to play some night.
Hey, but in The House That Dripped Blood, the wraparound story is this house, not a haunted house, but sort of a house that reflects your personality, as they say in the film. It's just the people who rent this house seem to have bad things happen to them.
Yeah, and the landlord
goes the Stoker agency.
The Stoker, yes,
how appropriate.
Yeah, Bram Stoker. It kind of fits in there.
And there's two police officers that are investigating the disappearance of the last renter, which is the last story in the movie.
Which is Christopher...
No, it's actually John Pertwee, who was...
John Pertwee and Ingrid Pitt, right?
Yes.
The luscious Ingrid Pitt.
Oh, my God.
Although in this movie, she's a few years older, but still...
She's still...
Yeah, right?
I like when she's wearing that pearl necklace. It just... Like, I'd give you a pearl necklace.
I was waiting for
Lovely woman.
80s horror fan YouTube chat. About time you pick one of the Ted's Hammer horrors. Not quite Hammer horror,
Amicus,
but they were going.
It's got a lot of people that were in, and I'll go through it as we do it. So the police officers are going through cases. There's a guy from Scotland Yard who's come in, and the local police officer's like, well, I've got a file on this house. A lot of strange things have happened there, and they're going through, and it's all these stories, 4 of them, of really, where the people that lived in that house sort of came to bad ends. The house itself isn't haunted. I don't know about the whole reflecting your personality kind of thing. It just seems like a lot of bad luck happens to whoever rents this house.
Yeah, 4 strange occurrences have happened in this dwelling, and starts off with which one? The
first story is called "Method for Murder."
There you go.
And all of these stories were written by Robert Bloch, who's an American writer. You'll know he wrote the original novel Psycho and the sequels, which are not like the sequel movies. But he's the author of Psycho, and he wrote these stories. But a lot of these stories go back to like when he used to publish in pulp magazines in the 30s and 40s. So these are old stories, and they kind of updated them for the movie. This one stars Denholm Elliott.
Yes.
Who was at least in one Hammer movie I know of, To the Devil a Daughter. But you'll all know him from as the guy from Raiders of the Lost Ark.
Yeah. I forget the name.
I can't remember his name in the Marcus.
Marcus.
I don't remember his whole name. I just remember Marcus.
Yeah.
Raiders of the Lost Ark, Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade. He's in both of those.
Yeah, he's an author, and he writes stories revolving murder.
Horror stories.
And ways people have been killed. Yeah, right. Basically, horror stories.
And it sounds like he's in a bit of a writer's slump.
Yeah, writer's block, just like Stephen King.
And needs a new house, and they go to this...
Kind of a Stephen King...
And it is a gothic sort of looking house. Not much on the outside, but when you go inside, there's gargoyle-looking statues. And
it's very
there's a
cool
library
looking
full of shelves of horror books and skulls. And
skulls.
Dust.
You got skulls in your trunk?
I mean, I don't have any skulls.
You got any skulls in your trunk, Mr. Klopek?
Klopek.
Mr. Klopek? I like in the Burbs, Tom Hanks. One of my favorite movies of all time. So there's always a little one-liner I could throw in
almost. It's kind of like Seinfeld. You can almost throw a little bit of Seinfeld into almost any situation.
We should just do the Burbs every week.
I mean, I could probably do it for a while. I mean, until we got absolutely bored of it, if we did.
What's Mr. Michael Myers? You guys should be the new Big Chuck and Little John. Call TV8.
Hey, you know what?
Mr. Michael Myers.
Bombard TV8 with and tell them that you want this kind of entertainment back on the air.
Yeah, right.
And, if you're actually reading Big Chuck's book right now. I've never gotten around to reading it, and I'm about halfway through, and it's just amazing how he fell into that, at just the right
movie
time.
Hosts, horror hosts,
but just in TV.
Fantastic.
I mean, TV broadcasting and stuff like that was still kind of new, in the late 50s, and he got in it like at just that right time when you could do things like that.
So the author,
yes.
he starts writing this story.
Crazy Strangler. Named Dominic.
Yeah, and he's got the artwork on a...
I don't know if he drew it or had someone draw it, but he's got a picture.
I don't know. Yeah.
And he's really getting into it.
Inspiration.
He's getting into his head. So much so that he starts to think he's seeing Dominic. Looks out the window, Dominic's peeking in.
Yeah, and every one of these stories in the anthology have a kind of a twist ending,
A bit.
Because, I mean...
The twist.
They got me. I mean, you really think that he's seeing the spirit of this character he made up in the story, Mm-hmm. And, at first he's at the top of the stairs.
Yeah. I think all the stories have a scene with using that stairway like that, where someone's up there and someone's down here. It is kind of every story. I didn't notice that. I'd seen it before, and I'm just kind of watching for details this time.
Well, they're shooting it in that house, and the way they have it set up, there's only so many angles, and I mean...
So you might as well use that staircase. I mean, I guess it gives some kind of dramatic...
Had to be a real house. I mean,
the guy who directed it, he doesn't have any horror cred. I think this is his only horror picture that
he's got no cred, man. No street cred.
Well, as far as,
Oh.
They wanted Freddie Francis, and he's done tons of...
Freddie Prinze Jr.?
No, Freddie Francis.
Oh.
He's done tons of Hammer films, Amicus films, all that kind of shit.
Freddie Francis.
But he had some other deal going on at the time.
It's like Janet Jason's.
I'm telling you.
Oh, wait, what? Oh,
Trust me.
Yeah.
Look up his IMDb, every movie you love.
Is on there?
Well, every movie I love.
Okay, but so he's also got this wife, this broad, this
broad.
hot wife.
She ain't bad looking.
Yeah, and she's always smoking cigarettes and...
Well, that's everybody
and
in these
booze and
sucking them down.
She seems very supportive of his his venture.
Yeah, he's
unlike The Shining, where
I know Wendy. She was terrible.
Where Wendy wanted, she just didn't support. She just said, "Write your book.
We need to leave. We need to go. We need to leave. Get the take Danny to a hospital."
Yeah. Now.
No wonder she went batshit after that movie. She did that in Popeye back to back. That's enough to drive anybody insane.
Well, Popeye was a good movie too.
I'm still waiting for a Blu-ray of Popeye. I love Popeye.
I love Popeye too, man. Fantastic.
My dad didn't take me to a lot of movies. Popeye is one of the movies he took me to.
Yeah.
Because he loves Popeye. And
at the theater, you've seen this
at the theater. I mean, I could probably count on one hand the movies that my dad took me to. I take my kids to movies all the time.
Man.
Well, just he didn't like to go for the most part. It had to be something he really wanted to see.
Yeah.
And I remember he took us to see E.T., but it was on a re-release.
Right, yeah.
And we were used to going with my mom, and my mom would always buy the big tubs of popcorn, the soda pops, and the candies. And so when we went, we were expecting that. And I remember my baby sister said something, popcorn, and we're walking in the movie, and I remember my dad saying, "We'll get it after." Like, we're going to get it after.
The whole point is to have it during the movie, Dad.
We're going to get it
what
after.
What are you doing?
We'll get it after.
I bet you never got it.
I was like, no. No popcorn?
So you guys are leaving go, I want
sitting
popcorn,
there,
pop.
Everybody else is eating popcorn.
And you guys never caught on?
Oh, I knew the jig was up. But, my sister was like 3, 4. I mean,
my Lord.
However old she was when that movie was around. But, back to the flick.
Yeah.
He sees Dominic, in the staircase, sees him poking his head through the window, even sees him strangling his wife. Mm-hmm. And when he rushes in there, she says, "It wasn't Dominic, it was you. Yeah. You were strangling me." Now he's thinking, what the, WTF, what's going on?
Yeah.
I need to go see a psychiatrist. So he goes to see a psychiatrist, and the psychiatrist is telling him, "Oh, it's some manifestation of you, being so deep into his mind as you write in the book." And, like Daniel Day-Lewis probably has to go to a psychiatrist, after every movie, because for like 6 months afterwards, he's still acting like the guy.
Please. Yeah. Well,
doing everything with his left foot. Wiping his ass with his foot.
Daniel,
his wife's like, "Daniel, come on, knock it off.
You don't need to wipe your ass no more with that." Trying to please her.
Well, after she caught him like jerking off with his left foot.
She's like, "Stop putting a lube on your foot. What are you doing?
Look what you're doing to your toes. They're all spread out."
I've got to do the movie, The movie's been done. No, whatever.
And so he goes to the shrink.
John says, my mom took me to see Popeye for my birthday. Only one I remember seeing with her. So,
and I tell you what, as silly as the movie kind of is, I still like it. I still remember the stupid songs, and I can't think of anybody, past, present, or future, past or present, that could have played Popeye better than Robin Williams did.
No,
there's not one actor that could have done that just as well.
Robin Williams was fantastic,
and the way that it looked,
it
just looked like the comic strip or the old black and white cartoons that you watched as a kid.
They did a great job.
It was amazing.
Loved
it. And I gotta say, Olive Oyl. There's no other woman that could have done that.
That's another thing. Yeah, she people didn't like her really in The Shining, and said she really wasn't that. I think she played a role in The Shining fantastic. I mean, for what it was,
I don't know how I would have behaved in that situation. So
right. But in Popeye, she was fantastic. But anyways. Go ahead.
Oh, little Sweet Pea, wasn't he so cute? Oh, yeah. Except in Popeye, Sweet Pea took over the role of the Jeep. Remember the Jeep in the cartoons, that little critter, whatever it was?
Yeah.
That, in the Popeye movie, the baby was making the little whistle sounds and could pick the winning horse.
Right.
In actuality, in the comic strip and in the old cartoon, it was the Jeep that could do that, not Sweet Pea.
Right.
So, there you go, little change up.
Little change up.
Don't think you pulled a fast one on me with this Popeye. I know.
Yeah, I know the comics, but
So,
at the psychiatrist's office.
Yeah. Then he's at the well, there's one good scene in his study. He's telling his wife, "He's there. He's in the chair." Yeah. And she walks over there, and there's no one in the chair.
And he goes, "He's moved over there."
He's like, "Didn't you see him get up and walk over there?"
Yeah.
And all right, okay.
The twist is coming.
And then they're in the psychiatrist's office. Yeah. Next thing you know, Dominic's in there choking the psychiatrist.
I love how he's telling the psychiatrist how he feels, or what he thinks, like. Looking straight forward, like talking about it, and then while he's being choked, like he don't hear it or nothing. He's just like, "Okay, yeah," and then he looks over and it's like he's
dead.
He's dead.
And he strangles.
Well, we find out because what happens is
because
the strangler goes back to the house and sees his wife, and they get together and start kissing.
Turns out this is a big
setup.
A big setup to make Charles...
What's that called? Where the wife sets up murdering the husband. There's something... they call it something.
Standard operating procedure? I mean, I don't know.
like Cat's Eyes or... whatever. Anyway.
Black Widow?
Maybe?
I don't know.
Whatever. But, So
just doing what women do.
So we find out, they're there kissing and necking.
Having an affair.
And, wriggling around in sheets, silk sheets.
And it turns out this was all a plan to make Charles go nuts So that maybe she could, I don't know, I think maybe, have him committed and take the money and they could go. And evidently this guy is an actor that isn't very good, but he really got into this role.
Yes. And she goes, well, because he goes,
and his name's Richard.
She goes, what's how about my husband? And they start to talk about it, and he's like, well, he's strangled too. He's dead too.
He's dead too.
And she goes, no, you weren't supposed to.
That wasn't the plan.
The plan was to make him seem insane. I mean, I guess to lock him up for life.
I think
so. So he goes, I did, whatever he says, and he goes and he chokes her.
Well, she says his name. Yeah. Richard. He's like, I don't know who Richard is. I'm Dominic.
Yeah.
So
he thinks he's the character. He strangles her, and that's it. That's
and
the
character
first anthology,
actually
first story in the anthology.
Now I had,
people love these old movies.
I know. I know.
They love them.
The character of Dominic. I when I was watching some of the extras on my Blu-ray when I was watching it last night.
Yeah.
The director has said that he was sort of based it a little bit on Boris Karloff Frankenstein, but I watch it, I see Morgan from the old Dark House. He looks like Morgan, except for the big scar across his face. And there are a couple of shout-outs to older films like that.
Right.
There are a few jokes in this film, but that one
we'll get to the last one.
I see. I see Morgan, and if you guys haven't seen the old Dark House, there's a million ways to watch it for free. It's like an hour. It's awesome.
The old Dark House
just when he gets all drunk, and Morgan hits the bottle.
You've got plenty of good actors.
Or even better yet, go back and watch our podcast of it because I had diarrhea in the middle of it, and I had to run out of the studio to go to the bathroom real quick.
Oh, go watch the old Dark House commentary that we did. Yeah, in the middle of it,
we're talking back.
In the middle of it, Ted's getting, hey man, I gotta
go.
So he gets up and goes. I'm like, okay, but
man,
the things we talk about.
I was prairie dogging.
But the old Dark House, literally a 10 out of a 10. I mean.
For an old flick, yeah. I mean, it's one of the best.
Yeah, it's a good movie. So we move on to story number 2.
Right.
Which brings in one of the veteran Hammer, good old Peter Cushing.
Peter Cushing, my second favorite actor, right after Vincent Price. Yeah. Waxworks,
yes.
And actually, I mean, the first 2 stories are probably the least interesting.
I was going to say,
the second 2 are better.
This one with Peter Cushing is... I mean, I have to admit, kind of
on the dull side.
Kind of dull.
But
and
the fact that he's in it,
the whole thing,
I'm still watching. I'm interested in him.
Of course you are. But I think the whole feel of this whole movie to begin with is like a made-for-TV movie.
It's a little disjointed in that when they first started making it.
Yeah.
Well, there's a reason why it kind of is the way it is.
Yeah.
Because everybody kind of felt it was sort of campy and a comedy. So that's how they were doing it. Now, the Amicus producers, Milton Sabatsky and Sam, was it Rosenberg or something? I don't know, something Berg. Their names are on all those.
Yeah, something Berg.
They were very hands-on producers. They come, they see...
The name is Berg.
They see...
Samuel Berg.
Alec Berg. They see the... see, told you.
Anybody know what we're talking about?
And
Wyatt is I. How's it going, everyone? Nice to see you in the chat.
Everybody, come on in.
Wyatt is I.
Because there ain't nothing better to watch right now.
He's been here since the beginning. Wyatt is I.
No kidding.
Yeah.
Man, you must really like us.
Yeah, periodically.
Periodically.
I love the Midsummer review, says Mr. Michael Myers.
Oh, thank you.
Oh, hell, that was a 3-hour commentary, man. Yeah.
And I just did. Did you put it up? My little review of the Blu-ray.
Yeah, well, that's for patrons.
The $50 I dropped on the director's cut that you can only get from the studio shop.
Let me thank my Patreons. Thank you, Patreons. There was a Blu-ray reveal for Midsummer that Ted did on our Patreon.
Sad thing is, $50 for one movie is not the most I've ever paid for just one single movie.
Hey, it is what it is. Seinfeld.
I take my...
Why is I?
I take my my movies seriously.
But for $1, you can join our Patreon. We'll be doing something right after this.
For the price of a cup of coffee.
It's sitting right here, but we're not going to talk about it right now.
The Blu-ray review I'm going to do.
It's going to be another Blu-ray reveal, only for our Patreons. Every week we're going to have a new,
I'm going to bring something.
Yeah, new Blu-ray review, because Ted is
something that I'm into.
Hands-on guy with these
go ahead.
Special discs.
Stream all your crap, and then when the internet goes out, you can't watch shit.
I'm not saying you're wrong, but anyways, okay. So Waxwork.
What was I even talking about?
Waxwork. So
well, when the producers saw
such bullshit.
When the producers saw that they were playing it up a little bit, they got pissed off and said, "No, this has to be a horror film."
Yeah.
And they kind of had to go back and...
What you do when your head itches and you're wearing a hat? Damn it. Go ahead.
So they kind of had to fix it up a little bit or cut bits out, things like that. Anyway.
So you mean the first three? Because really there's only one comical kind of movie. Yeah. I mean, short in this anthology.
I mean, I think the first one's got a few laughs in there.
Do you?
Yeah, like we said... Didn't you see him? He just walked over there.
Oh, God.
Little things like that. I don't know.
Okay, well...
Denholm Elliott, I just kind of find funny anyway.
Well, I mean, yeah, well...
I've seen him in several movies, and he's just kind of funny.
Okay, we'll go with it. So Peter Cushing, Waxwork...
He's a retired businessman.
He's a retired... This man's retired!
The Stoker real estate representative is showing him the house, and
he says, I gotta tell you.
Says, it's a lot of house for just you. Aren't you going to be a little bored? And he's like, no, I shan't be bored at all. I'm going to do gardening and read and listen to music. I mean, and again, these are all things that are great, like in my mind. Like, I wish I had time to do them, but I can admit probably after about a month,
you'd be done, yeah.
All right, where's the kids?
Well, these flowers are beautiful.
I mean, I've got enough music that that I haven't even gotten to yet.
Amen to that, sister.
You saw all that shit I bought with my stimulus check. So this gigantic set.
I will not say a thing. But anyways, yeah.
Instead of I'm fortunate I haven't missed a paycheck, so the stimulus was just kind of extra for me. Yeah. So, I know
merchandise. You guys seen our cups?
Let me see that.
Oh, there you go.
Oh, beautiful! You could.
It's the Late Horror Show.
What else are you going to drink your coffee out of? Anything else you drink your coffee out of is just shit.
Right next to Pinhead and Leatherface.
What are you going to get? Some other shows coffee mugs? Other shows are not even selling coffee mugs.
Well, collect them all.
They want you to pay.
Collect them all.
Collect them all.
The show, yeah.
Collect everything that we have.
So.
Oh, yes.
Peter Cushing, he becomes the Emperor.
No.
Palpatine.
No? He's in this house. They show him walking across bridges. They show him listening to music. The one important
very boring.
The one important... Well, it does...
Peter Cushing. It looks like home movies.
Well,
there he is.
Let's make a point.
Going on a stroll.
The realtor asks him if he's married. Yeah. And he says, no, I've never been married.
Oh, wait, where's this going?
Well, I'm getting there.
Okay.
So then we see him doing all these solitary activities, and you feel a little
solitary man.
Then while he's going through photo albums, he finds a picture
photo hut
of a very beautiful woman.
Yes.
And obviously you can tell by looking at the scene, this was someone he loved. Okay.
Wait, the photo album or at the waxwork?
No, the photo of the woman that he sees
in the house.
In the house, that happens first.
Oh, that's right. Gotcha.
Then he's walking town. He decided to go into town that day.
Oh, he went to town.
And go figure, this quaint little English
$50,
village,
I think, in England.
Whatever this is. Yeah. A little restaurant, little cafe, a little pub maybe. But no, they have a horror wax museum as well.
Yeah, and he's walking and he notices it.
House of Horrors.
Yeah,
That's what it's called, right?
And he goes he looks like this one. He's like, well, he smirks boy, this just made my day.
I'm gonna go check this shit. Wouldn't you?
Could be the comical nod that you're talking about.
Who's Jacqueline? And we never find out who Jacqueline is.
Jacqueline.
There's a guy that runs it. I mean, there's no Jacqueline.
She's a widower. She it was passed on to her from
unless
Jack.
Who knows?
Yeah,
what we're going to talk about.
Yeah.
So he goes in, seems to be deserted. No one at the ticket booth.
Yeah, I guess you get in for free. He's not making money at all.
Well, he did put some money on the counter. You saw him do that.
Well,
and he walks in, and
didn't ask for
it's all scenes of murder
and mayhem,
and then he gets to one that's behind a drape, curtain, sheer curtain. He pulls the curtains apart, and it's Salome. Which, if you don't know who that is, that was King Herod's daughter, the one that said, bring me the head of John the Baptist. Yeah. And that's supposed to be the head that's on the platter there in front of her. And even on the Blu-ray cover, that's kind of like the image.
Yeah.
Even the movie poster,
right.
That's the classic image from the movie. And the face of the wax figure of the woman looks
just like the woman that was in the photo and that he has memories of.
And...
He loves
then the owner, who's just kind of standing in the back, being creeping on a come up, says, "Oh, does she remind you of somebody?" And he comments that he modeled her after his wife, who was executed for
poor girl
killing his best friend.
Yeah,
like a likely story, but
he said
he said I had to preserve her image in wax. And since then, many men have come in here and she's reminded them of someone.
Yeah, she's like kind of an entity.
Maybe.
Some kind of.
I didn't think that wax sculpture was all that hot, but that's just me.
Yeah, and it was
so.
I like Mannequin way better from the 80s.
God, was Scott Baio in Mannequin? Who was in Mannequin?
Scott Baio, no, Andrew McCarthy.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
maybe I'm thinking of Zapped.
From the Brat Pack. He's also in Less Than Zero.
We're going to do the whole Andrew McCarthy.
St. Elmo's Fire.
We're going to do his whole IMDb.
With numbers like this, we may do St. Elmo's Fire next week.
Do a circle jerk about Andrew McCarthy. What's he done lately?
Well, I love Mannequin. It was very cheesy 80s.
It's ahead of its time.
Mannequin's coming to life.
I mean, because
you don't see that nowadays.
Gender's fluid, and there's some people that just want to rub their genitals up on a mannequin. I mean,
right?
They're people too.
That's what he wanted to do.
So and you can't judge.
I'm not judging.
That's right.
Yeah.
Well, in the 80s, that's what they did. They judged.
Okay, so continue with the Waxworks.
Well, Waxworks, it doesn't really pick up.
Really?
His friend Neville shows up.
Neville.
And we come to find
my name is Neville.
Neville and Peter Cushing's character, who I don't remember his name, Philip. Sorry, I have it right here in front of me. Obviously, they both loved the same woman, but neither one of them got a piece. And sad to say, this poor lady's ended up being dead now.
And I think that's why they're so hung up on her, is because they never got to fill the bush.
Yep. Never got to first base.
They were both gardeners.
You think they'd know it? You think they'd know how to work around some shrubbery?
But they didn't. Yeah, just like the burning, the choppas.
The choppas. So
they fight.
They don't fight. So they fight. Now that would have spiced things up a little bit of violence.
They fist fight.
No, they. You see Peter Cushing fist fight.
I'd love Peter to
He's
be more like
too much of a gentleman to fist fight.
I know. I'd like it to be more like the Peter Cushing and oh God, you know what I'm talking about with Peter Lorre and Trilogy of Terror?
Yeah.
I like it to be a bit more like that. But go ahead.
He would just give you an icy stare and you just back the hell off. But they go walking into town, and then Neville sees this damn wax museum. Peter Cushing's character tries to dissuade him from going in there, but he goes in. He sees the damn statue too. He gets told the same little story, but difference is this guy can't seem to get over the mannequin, the wax figure. Now you got me saying mannequin. And he keeps going back. He says, "I'm leaving." Oh, then he calls up, Peter Cushing. Like,
on the midnight train to Georgia, right?
I was supposed to be on the midnight train to Georgia, but I'm at the Queen's Head Hotel in town, and
what the Queen's Head?
I just can't get enough of this statue. I'm going back in the morning. So Philip, Peter Cushing's character, goes to the hotel and trying to talk him out of it. That's what the name of the hotel is, Queen's Head. Yeah. And he's not there.
That's what I'd name.
He goes to the wax museum. He runs in there. Lo and behold, it's Neville's head that is now on the platter.
Neville the Devil is what he called him.
Then the owner of
he
the
said,
place,
"Oh, Neville the Devil."
The guy, the proprietor, the husband of Salome,
the landlord.
He's there. He's got an axe. He says
he also plays the pharmacist.
He says he actually framed his wife. He was tired of all these men hitting on her. His best friend was obviously, making sexy times.
The whoopee. It was making the whoopee.
Yeah, so he framed it.
Yeah.
And actually what he did is he just dipped his wife in wax. Hey, we're dropping like flies. What, you got some other show to watch? Come on. Now.
Go on.
Come on.
It's just funny.
Tits. We'll start getting them back. And then you find out that this bitch has been dipped in wax.
Yeah.
Like Vincent Price, House of Wax style. Axes are flying. The head gets chopped. You see the skull under there. And unfortunately, Peter Cushing gets his head chopped off, and now his head's on the plate.
It's disgusting.
Yeah. So imagine getting your head chopped off by a rusty axe.
You probably need tetanus shot.
Could be.
Although you're not. So moving on to the third film,
the third
which
story
is entitled
"Sweets to the Sweet," probably
starring
Christopher Lee.
Yes. The fantastic Christopher Lee.
I don't know. Part of me kind of likes this one the best, even though I love Ingrid Pitt, and that's like all capital letters.
I like. You know which one I like the best.
But this, I think this story is probably the best one.
Yeah, I mean, but I enjoyed.
But the other one was a little bit more campy and fun.
Yes.
So, and that was the proper story to end it on.
But this is second best for me, and I understand probably the best story.
Yeah.
So by far. So
what do we got? We got Christopher Lee playing a.
Got you on the smart TV, says Mr. Michael Myers.
Whoa,
99.
we're on somebody's TV. The whole family's
nice and
watching.
big.
Everybody's sitting around eating their TV dinners, watching us.
Yeah, watching us babble on about whatever. Yeah.
Wonderful.
We're fantastic,
Well, I know I am.
We got great stuff to talk about. Okay, so, Christopher Lee, he has this daughter.
Right, he's
young girl.
He's a widower.
He's a widower.
He moves into the house.
A widower?
No, he's very tall, 6'4". He's not widow.
No, he's not widow.
No.
I love the Gene Wilder widow part in Haunted Honeymoon. But anyways, go ahead. Yeah, shut up. Whatever.
That movie.
Go on. I don't know why you don't like Gene Wilder. He's fantastic.
Maybe I love the idea of Gene Wilder more than actual Gene Wilder.
No, I love actual Gene Wilder. Anyways,
he's got his moments.
Anyways,
he does.
So this brat and
Christopher Lee, he's a widower. He's got this daughter who seems very the way it's actually a very different kind of role for Christopher Lee to play. In that at first he seems like he's a pretty bad guy. He's being actually kind of cruel to this child, very cold to this child.
And he is.
By the story's end, you realize that he's the victim.
Well, at the end, he's a victim because of the bad guy he is.
No, he's not.
No.
The child was evil. He's looking. This
You're
girl,
evil.
He doesn't let her play with other children. Doesn't let her play with toys.
No. Yeah.
And she's afraid of fire, for no particular reason. But she's afraid.
Didn't it have something to do with his mother?
No.
Who did?
No.
Okay.
It didn't say. It didn't say that.
He
hires
behind the scenes
a nanny /
thought it was behind
tutor.
The director's cut came out and said
every movie's got this director's cut.
Yeah,
the 4-hour director's cut.
The daughter was scared of the fire because her mother used to be a drag smoker. Mm-hmm. I mean, just smoked and smoked and smoked, and went to the store one night for whiskey. Mm-hmm. Came back with a box of Pall Malls
instead of whiskey,
and told her daughter while she was lying in the bed. She said, "What was the daughter's name again?"
Jane.
Jane. The mother said, "Jane, you need to learn how to smoke." She said. So she made her suck.
It's time to smoke.
She made her suck down a
it's time.
a carton of Pall Malls, and the studio, Amicus Studios, thought that this was going just way too far.
Really?
Because I mean, she was making her smoke on set.
I thought I knew a lot about this movie.
And so they cut it all out. So that's why the director's cut's like 4 hours long. I mean,
because they showed each smoke, right?
But they kept in that's why she was really scared of the fire. But nobody really knows that unless you see the director's cut or read the book by Amicus Studios. The making of Amicus Studios.
The making. Brought
out by, I think it was printed UK London LTD. Okay, so.
LTDs.
Okay, so go on. He was a bad man.
No, he's not a bad man.
He's not. Why is something... it smells like cigarettes now. Nobody smokes.
Nope. You smoking?
Oh, man. Yeah, you ever think of something and it
you guys do like the Three Stooges bit.
You're
like, I smell smoke. You chewing tobacco?
No. Can you imagine the tobacco you're chewing is... Yeah, and you're smelling smoke.
Where's the Three Stooges bit?
Anyways.
I smell smoke. You chewing tobacco?
That was funny. Okay, come on.
So he hires this...
I might have to go get
tutor. Tutor.
Yeah.
Oh, we're almost done.
Tutor.
To
we got to keep
because he won't send her to school.
An hour. No, go ahead. Yeah.
And...
Yeah, he's a...
she doesn't understand it at first, and he says, I
he won't send her to school. They're doing virtual school.
And there's...
Yeah, even back then they were doing remote learning.
He wouldn't let her have any... Yeah, I guess so. Sort of. Yeah. Pre-COVID. She asks permission to buy her some toys, and he gives her permission. Educational toys. She slips a doll in there. When Christopher Lee sees that doll, oh, hells no. Takes it, throws it right in the fire, and watch it melt. And she can't believe, why would you be so cruel? And, she even asks, about her mother. He
says, you don't got a mother.
And, even
says... And that was cruel.
He even says, I'm glad her mother's dead. I'm so happy because then, because I had discovered what she was.
And Ted says he's the victim.
He is. Because then we start to find that this kid behind everybody's back is hitting up the encyclopedia
she's got some powers.
And reading all about witchcraft.
Yeah, she's
no one's directing her to do that.
She's pagan.
Doing it all on her own. We know because her mother was a witch and the child was evil.
His mother was a witch. Her father was a witch.
Burn the witch!
Burn the witch! Burn, burn, burn,
and what do you do with more witches?
Burn! You burn more witches! Yeah! On with the pitchforks!
And,
gotta love that.
Power goes out one night.
Oh, yeah.
Remember that?
Well, they didn't pay the electric bill.
Power went out. Hey, do you know when... You remember the scene when Christopher Lee's sitting there and he's reading a book?
London Electric.
That was his copy of one of the Lord of the Rings books.
Oh.
Because he was such a huge fan. He read it every year.
Yeah.
Read it all the time.
Yeah, that's what the director said.
But that was actually his copy. He was like,
right.
How about I just sit here and read my book?
He got it from L. Ron Hubbard.
Maybe. I don't know.
Celtic Girl, what's going on?
About time.
Wow, amazing thumbnail. I love Hammer. Haven't seen this one yet. Celtic Girl, it's not a Hammer film. It's by Amicus Studios.
But it's got a lot of Hammer people in it, so you'll feel right at home.
Yeah, and kind of wanted to go off of the whole Hammer legacy.
And we haven't done an anthology movie, and this is...
Yeah.
Hands down, one of the more popular ones out of the 60s and 70s.
Sure.
You got one that's more popular?
Well, continue.
Yeah. Exactly.
But,
so they're looking for candles.
Yeah.
All right?
Right.
Christopher Lee's pissed off because when he finds a box, he says, there's 24 candles missing. This was a full box. And
there must be witchcraft among us.
He runs up the stairs. Yeah. Jane, where are the candles? What have you done with them? And she doesn't answer him. He smacks her across the face.
Oh, yeah. Evil. Yeah.
They had to do that about like 8 times.
He doesn't deserve it. He's the victim.
Because turns out he's... the next morning, he's shaving, he's getting ready, he's got to go into town, sign some important papers.
Yeah, he's businessman.
That little girl sneaks into the bathroom, takes the hair clippings out of the shaver. Now, you know damn well what she's going to do with that.
She's had enough of him, father or not.
She's
abuse
evil.
Is abuse.
No, he was protecting other people because that girl was going to end up being evil. That's the
you think that's what it was?
Yes, 100%. She was evil.
She could have grown up to be a
No.
Like one of those psychic readers on the telephone lines.
Oh, like Miss Cleo?
Yeah, she could have grown up to be Miss Cleo.
You call her Miss Cleo.
You calling me, I tell you, you future.
I think my sister got in huge trouble one time because she ran up such a huge phone bill calling up Miss Cleo.
Oh, my God, back in the day.
My sister's got like some kind of Miss Cleo game or something like that. Something from Miss Cleo.
Oh, I read the hashtag. I thought it was. Yeah, well, hammerish, close. Anyways.
Yeah, he does that to get extra people in.
Yeah, bring it. Well, it's
because that's what brings in the chicks.
Technically hammer. What? Hashtag hammer.
Well, I thought it was my charm that brought them in, but
so this girl was darn right evil.
She's made a wax doll,
a voodoo doll.
Put the hair.
So you
in
got
the
some
doll.
kind of occult. This is an occult.
And
movie.
he's trying to take care of some business, putting food on the fucking table.
Yeah. Oh,
and she's poking it with needles. Causing a nuisance for him, like, he can't move his arm. Then when he's laying in bed,
one of the very few movies where Christopher Lee is a victim.
He's writhing in pain.
Yeah.
And then when the teacher that scene. Tries to get that doll, he says, "You got to get that doll away from her. She's going to kill me." And when she tries to get that doll away, what does that kid do? Because she throws it in.
Yeah.
Clickbait.
She goes clickbait. I'm bringing you in, Celtic girl. Clickbait.
She throws it in the fire.
Give them what they want.
And then you hear Christopher Lee up there.
Well, he won a London Oscar for this.
London Oscar.
Don't they do their own British
They cut out the part
Oscars?
where he yelled out, "My biscuits are burning."
Oh.
My biscuits are burning.
Yeah, she's burning them with the candles. Well, that's how they would back in the day.
And then they tried to get the song Light by Fire over that scene, but they couldn't afford the rights.
Well, nowadays you get the whole Brazilian wax, this and that.
Who does? You?
People. But back in the day, they would use candles
or mannequins
and dangle your extremities above the candle flame.
Ain't nobody dangling mine.
And then they'd wax on, and then they'd wax off. It was torturous.
I don't know why.
Did you ever do that?
Do what?
That's
wax.
Oh, I dip myself in wax all the time and then peel it off.
Well, you have to understand. I'm
I got third degree.
I'm a straight white man.
I got third degree burns for a month after that.
I mean,
and by that time the hair's grown back and you need to start over.
Then what's the point of doing it?
Okay, so this little girl.
Why don't you just shave? You use a Bic. Mach 3.
So the little girl.
She threw the doll in the fire. He burned up and gave a really devilish, impish smile, and that's the end of the story.
Okay, so on to story number 4.
All right, stampeding towards the end.
My funniest and most most comical.
And this is the one that's going to tie
shorts.
it to the end,
yeah.
Because this is the one that the police officers are investigating the disappearance of this famous actor. I forgot his damn name. You give me a second, I'll look it up though.
John Pertwee?
Paul Henderson.
Oh.
The actor is John Pertwee, who at the time was the third Doctor.
Imagine having the last name Pertwee. Oh, Pertwee. You're so Pertwee.
Pertwee. And a lisp on top
of it all.
Do you think
so? Yeah.
But where's my cloak?
But this one's... Well, this one's...
I'm Sicilian. Inconceivable.
Yeah, anyways. The Cloak. This is the title of this, and it all revolves around the cloak and
really
him becoming a vamp. Shut the flip up.
It revolves around the cloak.
It revolves around the cloak.
Shit.
So, but okay, go ahead.
Well, I was just gonna say the first scene is lovely because you get to see Ingrid Pitt.
Yeah, has Ingrid Pitt,
like Jimmy Walker
from
would say.
Classic
She is
Hammer
dynamite.
She dynamite.
Not only
Jimmy,
is she beautiful, and
if you had no veins, you'd have no legs at all.
She survived a Polish Jewish concentration camp.
Yeah,
homie don't play.
You say that every time.
Well, she's tough, and she ended up being good looking and did some great movies, Vampire Lovers and Countess Dracula.
Oh, Vampire
Wicker
Lovers.
Man.
Fantastic. Wicker Man.
Oh, yeah. Not a very big part in Wicker Man, but that's all right. She's still in Wicker Man, and you get to see her butt-ass naked in the bathtub. And, boom, 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 boom.
You gotta love Wicker Man. I'd love music playing like that and get a bunch of people together and just have a festival.
I'm sure there's some freaks out there that would be happy to do that. Walk around barefoot, get sheep shit in between their toes, and
get splinters all up in their bunions.
I probably don't have bunions because they don't wear shoes.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. Celtic Girl says, did you guys say this one has several stories in one, or
4.
I came in so late?
4 stories. It's Amicus was known...
Vampire lovers, her best, yes. But
Yes. Who said that?
Celtic Girl.
Oh.
But yes, there's 4 stories in this. We're on to story number 4.
Amicus was known for doing... They did a good half dozen of these anthology films. That's what they're known for. They're all pretty fun. Yeah. I mean, there's always like a couple, like maybe a dud in there or something, but...
Ted's middle name?
Dud. Yeah. Ted Dud.
Dud. Okay.
So John Pertwee plays Paul Henderson, who's a bitchy actor,
whiner.
British actor.
He's a whiner.
Well, he's a veteran of horror films.
Yeah, he longs to be a vampire like me.
Has played vampires many times. Usually, it sounds like he plays the villain.
Svengoolie. He plays Svengoolie.
And it sounds like he longs for the days when there were real sets.
I haven't seen the daylight in weeks.
Like he's bitching about they're showing him this cool little. Like on their... Well, they rent the house. Yeah. Okay, blah, blah, blah. They rent the house. Big surprise. And, sorry. While they're shooting a movie.
Yeah.
And so...
Because every story takes place in the house.
Right. So they're showing the... like a model mock-up of the castle.
Yeah, it's like a Model T.
He's like, do you approve of this? He's like, this I approve of.
Yeah.
But then he points at the actual set. However, this... And it really is just like... painted paper. I mean, it looks really good.
Yeah, good.
Like you could probably fool an audience with it. Yeah. But he's taking his walking stick and look, you can break through it with a pea shooter, and he smashes it all.
Destroying the set. Who cares?
Completely destroying the whole day's work.
Yeah,
and nobody says anything to him. He just storms off set.
He's the
and
star.
He's upset. The costume. He wants something authentic. So he goes back to his dressing room, and there's this little card there. Some costumery shop. And he decides to...
Is that a true word? A costumery shop?
Costumery, yeah.
Okay, I'll go along with it. Costumery
because that was the name of the place.
Costumery?
Well, some name, but yes.
Jacqueline's costumery place?
Yeah, I don't think it was costumery place. It was just costume.
Okay.
I mean, you wouldn't call it like a convenience store place.
Yeah. This is 7-Eleven.
If you're not going to buy that, put it down or I'll blow your head off.
Get back there now.
It's not a lending library.
You must put that back.
Isn't it a shame Apu can't be in The Simpsons anymore?
Food?
That's the world we live in. After 31 years, Apu can't be in The Simpsons anymore.
Come on our set, Apu.
Because 2 people don't like it.
Yeah. Yeah, so
2 angry white women don't like it. So, anywho, so he decides to check this place out. He says he's going to find his own costume.
He even says he goes, check this out.
Check it out. So when he gets there, it's almost looks like an occulty kind of shop, black candles and stuff. And then the proprietor, I can't remember his name. It's Van something. Comes
Van
in.
Nostrand.
Whatever. And Vandalay.
Vandalay Industries. More Seinfeld reference.
And he says, are you a... Because he's looking at the black candles.
We've seen way too many Seinfeld.
Are you a celebrant? He's like, I have performed the Black Mass. I'm an actor. He knocks all the goddamn candles over. It's
burned out.
I mean, just little shit like that. Oh, before when he stormed off, he's talking about... how he longs for the days like, the real sets, the real horror movies like Frankenstein. And then he says, Dracula, the Bela Lugosi one, not this new guy. No. And he's taking a little dig at Christopher Lee. It's a little joke there. So anyway, when this owner shows up, did he remind you of anybody right off the bat? Because I know when I say it, you're going to be like, oh, yeah.
Yeah,
Dr. Pretorius from Bride of Frankenstein.
Oh, Jesus.
100%. Yeah. Dr. Pretorius.
Wonder if they did that on purpose.
Yes, of course they did it on purpose.
So you think they really went out and got a lookalike?
I think they just, his mannerisms, the way he spoke, the way he kind of dressed.
Yeah, true.
Yeah, I think they were going for that.
I think you're right, yeah.
And, because there's a few things throughout the movie like that. And so this guy's like,
real quick,
please.
Celtic Girl in the chat says, where do you find authentic vintage posters and merch of certain movies? Is the best eBay or where? I think I want a poster to frame. Celtic Girl, you can...
I mean, it depends if you want an original.
Like, I got all these, I made them all myself. Printed them all up.
I mean...
But, yeah.
Original prints,
Amazon's,
original
maybe.
film posters, especially for horror films, can be very collectible and very expensive. Actually, you know who's big into it is Kirk Hammett from Metallica.
Yeah.
Has a huge collection. He even published a book. You can find, I forget what it's called, but it's Kirk Hammett, and it's pictures of the posters that he owns, and these are all originals, lobby cards.
I don't think she's asking.
If you just want like a print of a poster,
to
frame,
eBay's fine.
eBay
Amazon's fine.
I was actually looking for a couple of Hammer ones that I thought would look cool, and I found a couple on there that I would like. But it would be cool. I've had some original. I have an original Life of Brian movie poster.
Excellent.
Monty Python, Life of Brian.
Remember the days
and those will have creases. They'll all have creases.
I used to work at Cosmic Video back in the day. Mm-hmm. We're talking late 80s. Early 90s.
Oh, you probably had your pick of...
And they would get the movies, and they would send movie posters with the movies.
Right.
In tubes.
You were supposed to put them on the window.
You were supposed to put on the windows and stuff. And I would come home with whatever posters I wanted. Yep. And it was fantastic. And to this day, I'm like, don't really have any of them. And I'm like, that's the one thing I'm kind of pissed about.
What about the standees and things like that? Did you have to send those back? Or?
No, the sad part is a lot of those things ended up getting thrown out.
Right. I mean, where are you going to put them? But it's like, if we had known 40 years later, we'd be doing this.
If I would have known. Like a real 70s one, she says. Yeah.
Like if you want a real vintage one.
Yeah.
I mean, you could go on eBay. We used
there are sites that sell authentic movie posters, and you do a search for them, it'll pop.
There might even, depending on where you're located at, there might even be some shop. Remember, we used to have
Ohio. She asked what state is Cosmic Video. It's in Ohio, Cleveland, Ohio. It was, but all video stores.
I think the only video stores we have
pretty
are
much
Family
gone now.
Video, and there's still a Carino's.
A Carino's Video, yeah.
Still, like going by Lorraine. There's still one there.
Yeah.
But
very few dying.
What was I going to say? The one that I wanted to get was the film we did a couple of weeks ago, Dracula's Risen from the Grave.
Oh.
I love the poster because it's like from here down to below the bust of a female, and she's got a Band-Aid on her, pink Band-Aid on her neck.
Yeah.
And it says Dracula's Risen from the Grave, and then underneath that little joke I did throughout the show, obviously.
Yeah.
I just thought that'd be a great... It doesn't have to be an original 70s, authentic poster. I'm happy with a print.
Yeah.
But that's what I was kind of looking at.
Okay, so rounding out this movie, interrupted what you were saying.
This proprietor of this costumery has this cloak.
Yeah.
And he's like, I've got the perfect thing for you. And he's got it in the box, gives it to him, and the guy's like, he puts it on, he's like, it's cold. He's like, it's been in the basement.
It's been in the basement.
It's rather cold down there. And he likes it. He doesn't even charge him hardly. 13 shillings. And he's like, what, a week? And he's like, no. It's change.
Yeah.
And
just wants the guy in the cloak.
Right. So he takes it, and he's got it the next day in his dressing room. And when he puts it on, he notices all of a sudden, boom, I don't see myself in the mirror.
Yeah.
I was like, okay, what the hell is this?
You think he'd have other... Well, go ahead.
And I know.
Yeah.
And then when he's doing the film...
I feel strange.
When he's doing the film, there's the part with Ingrid Pitt.
I feel like I can lift the house above my head.
He's supposed to kiss her, but then I don't know if he's actually kiss her or bite her on the neck, or I don't know what that scene was. I think he was supposed to be biting her on the neck.
Yeah.
But then he really starts biting her on the neck, and she gets mad. This is his girlfriend, by the way, and she slaps him. Yeah. I'd love for Ingrid Pitt
because he's got because he's got the fangs and stuff too. But I think he didn't notice any like strength or energy really because they were trying to copy the Hammer vampires, and they were all very weak.
Speaking of, do you remember we used to have that store, Collector's Warehouse, and they had the poster pit?
Oh, yeah.
So she was talking about posters.
Yeah.
There used to be a comic book shop
Yeah.
here in the Cleveland area, and they also had another room, and it was all movie posters, like on cardboard and wrapped in plastic originals. I just remembered that.
How about the record shops we used to have? Like
so some, but yeah, not like we used to.
Chris's Warped Records back in the
I
day.
meant Overkill. Man. Anybody know that band Overkill? I meant Overkill at Chris's Warped Records.
Yeah, that was.
Or no, was it Chris's Warped Records? No, it was a different place.
Had to have been different place. Chris's Warped Records were. It was a very small.
Yes, well,
doesn't mean that you couldn't fit a band in there, but
no, it was a different place. I can't remember, but it was also a rinky-dink little record store.
Yeah. Raiders AK, where's Ted's sister? We got to get her in here.
She's still afraid of the COVID right now, so...
Yeah, I think until that passes, we're not going to get her.
You can check out her videos, though. She has her own channel called She Snapped Again.
Yeah, I think Raiders is subscribed to her channel.
All right, because she just put up a new video today reviewing the lyrics to the WAP song.
And she did a Ouija board one.
That one's great. Actually,
a couple days ago.
I want to do a little riff on that. I want me and Dino to do a Ouija board show.
We might do a Ouija show.
We got to do a Ouija show.
Yeah.
But ours won't be a Barbie doll Ouija board. It'll be a cool Ouija board.
Well, that's what kind of made the video funny. But anyways, let's wound up this.
Let's wind it up.
Ingrid is the most amazing actress. She is so awesome. My favorite in the genre. Yeah. Hey, I'm not going to argue.
No. Yeah. If you haven't seen Countess Dracula, you should see that. That's based on the
Count
real
Basie.
character of Elizabeth Bathory, who bathed in the blood of virgins to maintain her youth. So,
which didn't work. She got old and wrinkly.
Well, in the film, she's already old and wrinkly, and when she gets some virgin blood on her, she starts getting young again. So, we gotta keep doing this. Like they even smuggle her daughter away. Yeah, and she starts playing the role of the daughter, I'm the daughter.
Okay, so
anyway,
so that all around this cloak, he's going after her because he
puts it on the next morning.
He wants to taste the blood.
Right, he's trying to take a chomp out of her. Doesn't get it.
Yeah. So next morning,
he goes home. He puts it on. All of a sudden, he starts getting fangs. He's flying in the air. It's the witching hour. It's midnight.
And I love his expressions and the face. It's almost cartoonish.
Yeah.
It's very funny.
He sees in the newspaper that the place where he bought the cloak has burned to the ground, and they found a coffin in the basement or in the cellar, whatever it was, and there was the body in there, and they identified the body as the guy who sold him the cloak.
Yeah.
And he starts to say, this cloak's turning me into a vampire. That guy was a vampire, and the only way he could free himself and die was to pass the cloak on to someone else.
Yeah.
And he's trying to convince Ingrid Pitt of this. He's trying to make it up to her from what happened. And she's like, well, put the cloak on. Let me see. Show me. He puts it on. Nothing happens. Takes it off and sees that there's a label property of Shepperton Studios, which is where a lot of these British movies were made. Right. Shepperton Studios. He's like, well, this isn't my cloak. And she's like, no, darling, this is.
Yeah, she puts
it on. And then she gets the fangs and starts flying up there. And it turns out she's a vampire.
Yeah.
And it turns out that vampires love his movies. And they want him to be one of them. Since he's played vampires in so many movies, they think he's great. So they want to initiate him.
How awesome is that story?
Right.
I mean,
and she's flying up towards him, and he's running up the stairs and screaming. And that story kind of cuts to the end. And then we get the final wraparound.
But I love that,
where the inspector from Scotland Yard, he's now talking to the real estate guy.
Which is the framework story.
The framework story, wraparound
segment.
And he demands the keys to the house.
He goes, I demand the keys to the house.
And the realtor is actually like, why don't we just go in the morning? There's no electricity.
Well, that's what the realtor says. He's like, let's go in the morning.
Go in the morning. I'll meet you there. Nope, I want to go now. I know what I'm doing.
He even says, he goes, I'll meet you there.
Yep. So he insists on going by himself, goes in the house, goes into the cellar. There's a locked door. There just happens to be a crowbar sitting there.
Did you notice that when they did get there, that the door was locked? They had to get a crowbar to unlock the door.
That's what I was just saying.
Just,
Didn't I just say crowbar? I thought I was just talking about it.
Ingrid Pitt's channel, she's got a YouTube channel. She looks like a boy, Celtic Girl says.
Wow.
It's interesting.
Well, she's passed away now. It's been 10 years.
Yeah.
She passed away 10 years ago.
Yeah, is that what you talk about? Ingrid Pitt? Anyways,
there may be a tribute channel or something. I'm sure
maybe a tribute channel.
Something like that.
Okay, so yeah.
So he pries open this door, and it turns out there's a couple of coffins in there. One of the coffins opens up, and there's the actor. They're rising up, and they're fighting a little bit. It's kind of sped up.
Yeah.
You notice? And you see like the chair breaks and he just picks up the leg. Just instinctively just stabs him right in the chest, kills his ass. And then the other coffin opens up, and oh man, Ingrid Pitt's looking very attractive as a vampire there.
Yeah, still got the looks.
Still got, and
she's got the
coming after him, and
he's
gone, man. He's a goner. He's a goner. And that is
the
end of except for the end where the realtor is outside the house the next day, and what they call breaking the fourth wall when someone in the movie talks to you,
right?
And he's saying that the house reflects people's personalities, and it's a good house. It'll be right for the right person, and maybe it's right for you.
Yeah.
And he walks away, and that's the end.
Yeah, and that's the end of the film. Celtic Girl, she meant. She went to your sister's channel.
Oh!
And she looks like a boy, Stu.
That's her character, Stu, that she does, yes. She probably has other videos where you can actually see what she looks like.
Yeah, she does. But lately, it's for a while, it's been like the Stu comedy.
Which I kind of like. I sort of encouraged her to do that. She used to do it with a Snapchat filter, and then when that was gone... I said, well, you got to carry on. And she found a wig and sideburns and a mustache.
What I liked about the Snapchat ones was when she moved away, it would reveal her face and she'd go,
I'm not myself in the morning.
Yeah. So she played it off
like
real
two
funny.
Different people.
It was kind of funny.
Or she'd do that other guy, Chad. Yeah, Chad.
Well, Stu, way better than Chad.
We want to her character, Stu, is a insect exterminator.
Yeah.
And we really want to get her over here.
The cockatoo.
And do one of those big bug movies.
Yeah.
I envision doing like Empire of the Ants, where the gigantic ants.
Yeah.
It's from the 70s. Mm-hmm. And I know she would be hilarious. Oh boy, look at
them ants!
I mean, she did videos about the murder hornets. Oh, now we got murder hornets.
They got 8 legs.
Hey, ladies.
What are you doing?
So, yeah, she's got her own thing, and
we'll have her back on as soon as this stuff passes.
As soon as she's brave enough to come over here.
Yeah.
It's an open invitation, so hopefully, soon.
But that's it, man. Next week, we're gonna have a surprise.
We are.
Well, I'm gonna talk to Ted about it afterwards. But
I told you I am not doing 8-Man Fuckfest.
No, oh jeez. But expect a new video. We're gonna film it now.
New video.
Blu-ray reveal. We're not gonna say what Blu-ray.
8-Man Fuckfest.
We're gonna talk about it.
Widescreen
for the Patreons on Patreon.
Yeah.
You can go to patreon.com
Pay a buck
/ the Late Horror Show, whatever.
Or $50.
It's in the link below.
I mean, you don't have to pay a buck, right? You can pay as much as you like, right?
$200.
Yeah, I mean, there's really no limit.
200 gets you a mug.
you got a stimulus check sitting around, not doing it, not working for you. Get it over here.
No, but seriously, every week there's new stuff up there, and eventually I'm going to get to some extra, behind the scenes stuff. But stuff every week. So, with that said, I will see everybody next... when will I see them?
Next week.
I'll see you guys trivia night, and... and not until next week. So,
right.
until then, you
Happy
guys...
Labor Day.
Yeah. Happy Labor Day?
It's this weekend.
That's right.
Labor Day weekend.
Yeah, okay. Happy Labor Day.